Well, kiddos, I'm going to try to help you answer that question on the Part 107 drone exam test. The question that has to do with airport communication, aircraft communicating with the airport. It's a difficult question to answer, but once you understand it, it's relatively simple to answer. But you got to understand a few things on how to answer the question. Well, here's the question. I've gotten a lot of questions about this one, so I'm going to help you understand the question and be able to answer it. It says, refer to Figure 26, Area 2. While monitoring the Coopertown CTAF, you hear an aircraft announce that they are mid-left downwind to runway 13. Where would the aircraft relatively be to the runway? So where is the aircraft located compared to the runway? So there's three possible answers: A, east, B, south, and C, west. Let's see if we can dissect and break apart this question to see where it's located. Well, there's a couple of things we need to understand first before we can actually break down this question. One, we've got to be able to use some components that is given on the chart, the sectional chart, okay? One of the first things we need to know is if you look on Figure 26, Area 2, this is the runway that we're talking about. This is Coopertown. But there's something on this sectional chart that we need to use to help us answer that question that relates to that airport, is this compass. If you could see this compass right here, this little blue line with these little dashes, that's the compass. And if you'll notice, you'll see numbers like 15, 12, 30, let's see, 6, 38, 27. Those are actually degrees, but you have to add a 0 to it. For instance, 30 is actually 300 degrees. 12 here is actually 120 degrees. 15 is actually 150 degrees. 21 is actually 210 degrees. 27 is actually 270 degrees. So knowing this, we can actually determine where the pilot is located at. Okay, now let's look at this. Here's the airport. This is the angle and the way it's aiming. You'll notice that this side of the airport is setting probably around 13, and this side of it is about 31. Okay? That's important to us right now because notice it goes up this direction. It starts at 0, keeps going up, and back to here. Right? One of the things we need to remember is when a pilot approaches an airport or circles an airport, the airport is always to his left, so he can have a good view of the airport. So that means is when this plane is circling the runway, it's got the airport to his left. That means the plane is flying this direction. It's going this direction, okay? And we notice that the airport is at a slant. It's going from 13 and going to 31. That's going to be important, okay? It says runway 13. The runway, the number 13 on runway indicates the degree that it starts from, where it's located at, which runway 13 would be on this end, which actually means 130 degrees. All right? So if he's going to enter runway 13, he will come in. This would be the entrance point. He would enter here, heading that direction. So he's coming in on the northeast, And if he was taking off, he'd be taking off going what? He's coming in southeast and he's going out northwest. All right? So that means he's circling this direction. Now, when you hear the words downwind or upwind, those have a particular meaning. If the plane is downwind, the plane is going with the wind. If the plane is upwind, he's going against the wind. You understand that? So, the question actually tells us where he's at. It says that you hear an aircraft announce that they are midfield. So they're midfield. Because here's the airfield and here's the runway, midfield. So he's midfield, left downwind. That means the runway is left of him. So that means he has to be right here. He has to be. The runway is left of him. And what downwind means? He's going with the wind. That means the wind's actually going this direction. So we even know which way the wind's going. So he's midfield. And here's runway 13. It says, what does it say to that? He's midfield, left downwind. So the airport is left of him to runway 13. And that's runway 13 right there. Because you can tell where runway 13 is. It's at the 130-degree mark. So, where's he at? Well, the runway's like this, right? So that means he's either, basically he's like northeast. Well, if you look at the answers, it says south and west and east. Well, he's definitely not south. And he's definitely not west of the airport. He's the only one it can be is east of the airport. Only one is the correct answer that could be the correct answer is east of the airport. So this question can be complicated, but if you kind of understand some of the things you can use on the chart, you don't have to just look at that airport. You can use things around you on these charts to kind of help you answer these questions, like using the legend or using some graphs or charts that are in this book that can aid you in answering the questions. So I hope you understand that you needed to know the compass. And do we really actually need to know the wind direction? Nah, not really, because you know that to runway 13, you know the plane's little circle with the airport on your left-hand side, right? And we're talking about to the left of the runway 13, right? And he's midfield, because he couldn't be midfield here, right? Right? So that would probably be that would be the easiest and best way to understand it, is use this. Actually, this compass is the biggest one that helps you answer the question. Right? Hope that was a lot of help. Gotcha.